The night was colder than usual. Wind screamed across the frozen valley like a living monster, dragging sharp ice across everything in its path. Even the mountains looked like they were shivering. Most humans stayed inside their warm shelters at this hour, but one man was still out there, driving his half-old supply rover through the storm. His name was Raylan Ward, a simple human engineer who delivered tools and food between outposts. He was tired, hungry, and only wanted to reach home before the storm got worse. But fate had different plans. Raylan tapped his frozen fingers on the steering wheel and muttered, "Why do storms always start when I'm working?" Just then, his rover's scanner beeped. Beep, beep, beep. Raylan frowned. What now? No ships should be out here. The scanner only beeped when it detected life forms or emergency signals. But the strange thing was, this signal was very weak, almost dying, and also very close. Raylan slowed the rover. The storm was too loud to hear anything, but he tried anyway. He opened the door and stepped outside. The wind hit him like needles. He pulled his jacket tight and began to walk toward the signal source, letting the scanner guide him. The signal grew stronger. Beep, beep, beep. Raylan stopped. For a moment he thought he heard something. A small cry, like a baby. But no human child could survive out here. And there were no families living anywhere near this valley. He walked further. The snow reached his knees. Every step felt heavier than the last. The storm was pushing him back, but something inside him pushed him forward. The signal suddenly died. The scanner went silent. Raylan froze. No, no, no. Don't die on me now. He lifted the scanner up again and shook it. Nothing. The life signal had disappeared completely. But then, he heard it. A soft, painful whimper. A baby's cry. This time it was real. His heart jumped. He rushed toward the sound, slipping and stumbling on the ice. He brushed away snow from a tall pile and gasped loudly. There was something under the snow. Something moving. A thin purple blanket peeked through. Raylan dropped to his knees and started digging with his bare hands. His fingers burned from cold, but he kept going until the blanket was clear. When he pulled it back, his breath stopped. Inside the blanket lay an alien woman. She looked like a Nahari, a peaceful alien race that usually avoided human settlements. Her skin was light blue, her hair long and silver, but her body was shaking violently from the cold. Her arms tightly wrapped around two tiny newborns, one on each side of her chest. The babies were glowing faintly, blue and violet lights, their small bodies trembling in fear and cold. Raylan whispered, "My God!" The alien mother slowly opened her eyes. They glowed gentle white. She tried to speak, but her lips were blue and frozen. She was barely alive. Raylan pressed two fingers to her neck, a pulse, but very weak. She forced out a whisper, her voice full of pain. "Please, save them." Her eyes looked at her newborn twins, not herself. Raylan swallowed hard. He had seen many things during work, but nothing like this. "Don't talk," he said softly. "I'm taking all of you with me." He gently lifted the first baby. The small alien child gave a soft cry, its tiny hands grabbing Raylan's finger. Then he lifted the second baby and finally picked up the mother, who was frighteningly light, almost weightless. Her body had deep burn marks across her back, as if someone had tried to destroy her wings or hurt her before abandoning her in the storm. Raylan clenched his jaw. Someone did this on purpose. He carried all three to his rover as fast as he could. He placed the alien newborns inside his warm coat and laid the mother across the back seat, wrapping her in thermal blankets. Her eyes closed again, but he could still see a weak rise and fall of her chest. "Stay with me," he whispered to her. "Just stay alive." He started the rover and turned toward the nearest human outpost. It was 20 minutes away. Maybe they would survive if he drove fast. Raylan activated the communicator. "This is Raylan Ward," he said, voice sharp. "I found 3 survivors. Alien mother and 2 newborns. They need medical help now." For a moment, silence. Then a cold voice replied, "Raylan, you are not authorized to bring Nahari into human territory. Turn back immediately." Raylan blinked. Are you crazy? They're dying. We cannot allow alien biological risk inside the outpost. This is an order. Raylan looked at the babies. Their cries were fading. The mother's breathing was slowing. He spoke through clenched teeth. Then your order is rejected. He turned off the communicator. The storm behind him roared like it was angry. Raylan increased the rover speed. Snow exploded behind him as he drove through the night. His mind was racing. Why were they left out there? Why were her wings burned? Who would leave newborns to die? Suddenly, the mother's voice broke the silence. It was weak, barely a whisper. Don't let them take my babies. Raylan turned. Her eyes were half open, full of terror. He held her hand. No one is taking them. I promise. A tear ran down her frozen cheek. She closed her eyes again. Raylan tightened his grip on the controls. He didn't know what trouble he was inviting. Saving aliens was not something humans usually did, especially when politics between both species were already tense. But he didn't care. He would not let 3 innocent lives die in the snow. As the rover slid across the icy road, Raylan suddenly noticed something in the sky. 3 distant lights, moving fast, too fast to be human rescue ships. His stomach tightened. Someone was following him. Someone who knew about the mother and her babies. Someone who wanted them dead. The lights in the sky grew brighter. Raylan whispered, "Please, not tonight." He pushed the rover to maximum speed. The babies cried louder. The storm became stronger. The skylights got closer. And Raylan realized he was no longer carrying survivors, he was carrying targets. Targets wanted by dangerous beings. The part ends as Raylan grips the controls harder, the storm blinding everything, and the 3 lights behind him closing in like predators in the dark. The storm behind Raylan grew worse. The skylights were now closer, bright enough to cut through the thick snow. Raylan kept looking in the mirror while driving, hoping the lights would fade away. But they didn't. They spread into 3 separate beams, chasing him like wolves hunting prey. The 2 alien newborns inside his coat trembled softly, sensing danger. Their glowing skin flickered like candle flames fighting against the wind. The alien mother in the back seat breathed weakly, each breath growing shallower than the last. Raylan's heart hammered in his chest. Just hold on. We're almost out of the valley. Suddenly, his rover's engine coughed. A red warning flashed on the dashboard. Engine overheating. Slow down. No, not now, Raylan muttered. He had pushed the rover too hard through the snow. If the engine stopped here, all of them would die, either from cold or from whatever was following them. He slowed down slightly. The lights in the sky adjusted immediately, almost as if they could sense his speed. Raylan breathed slowly. Okay, think smart. Not fast. He turned the rover off the main path and headed toward a cluster of old mining tunnels carved into the mountains. These tunnels were abandoned years ago and not shown on most scanners. Maybe he could hide there. As he drove into the narrow passage, the storm calmed a little. The mountains blocked the wind. The rover crept deeper into the shadows until it reached an old metal gate half buried in ice. Raylan forced the gate open, parked the rover inside, and shut everything down. Silence. Only the twins' tiny cries broke the stillness. Raylan gently removed them from inside his coat and wrapped them in warm blankets. Their skin glowed brighter now, warm, alive, beautiful. He placed them next to the alien mother, hoping the heat would help her. He knelt beside her. Can you hear me? After a few long seconds, her eyes opened a little. Her voice was a thin whisper. Where are we? Old mine tunnel. It's safe for now. She blinked slowly, her face pale and tired. She looked at her newborns and tried to reach them with her hand, but her arm was too weak. They are cold, she whispered. Raylan placed her hand on top of the babies. Not anymore. A tear slid down her cheek. Raylan sat back. My name is Raylan. I found you in the snow. The alien mother breathed slowly. I am Lyra. Raylan nodded softly. Lyra? Who did this to you? For a moment Lyra said nothing. Her eyes were full of pain. Not just physical but emotional. memories she did not want to relive. Then she whispered, "They wanted my babies dead." Raylan froze. "Why?" Lyra closed her eyes. "Nahari clans believe twins bring misfortune. Curse. My own clan leader ordered their death to keep the clan safe." Raylan clenched his jaw. "So they burned your back, dropped you in the snow, and left you to die?" She nodded weakly. His blood boiled. He had seen injustice before, but this was cruelty beyond anything he imagined. Suddenly, a loud rumble shook the tunnel. Raylan froze. A shadow passed over the entrance. Another rumble, engines. The hunters had found the mine. Raylan jumped up, switched off every light, and dragged metal crates to block the view inside. He pressed his ear to the rock wall. He could hear footsteps. Slow, heavy, non-human. Voices echoed through the storm outside, deep and sharp like knives cutting through metal. Raylan whispered, "Lyra, stay quiet." She clutched her babies close, fear shining in her weak eyes. Raylan needed a plan. Fast. He searched the mine with a small flashlight, trying to find anything useful. There were old tools, broken machines, rusted wiring, and a few mining explosives sealed inside a safety box. Raylan stared at them. Perfect. The night sky was clear here. No storm. But that wasn't the good part. The tracks of the hunter ships were visible in the snow, all heading toward the mine. That meant the escape route was safe for a few minutes. Raylan set Lyra down gently inside the rover, which he had parked nearby earlier while scouting the area. He checked the newborns. Their breathing was gentle now, their bodies warmer. He wrapped them tighter inside his coat. Lyra watched him quietly, her weak voice trembling. "You risk your life for strangers." Raylan smiled sadly. "Saving you isn't a risk. Leaving you was." Her eyes softened with emotion. Suddenly, his communicator buzzed. The same cold voice from before. "Raylan, we detected unknown ships in your area. Stand by." Raylan replied angrily, "I'm already under attack. Why didn't you warn me earlier?" The voice hesitated. "We did not know their purpose." "Well, now you do," Raylan snapped. "They want the twins dead." Another pause. Then the voice said something unexpected, something that sent a chill through Raylan's body. "Then protect them at all costs. Reinforcements are coming." Raylan froze. They were finally taking him seriously. But the hunters would break into the tunnel any minute. He tightened his grip on the rover controls. "We're not out of danger yet," he whispered. Lyra weakly held onto his arm. "Ray, thank you." He nodded. "Hold your babies tight. It's going to be a long night." Behind them, the mine exploded open as the hunters broke free. Their ships rose into the sky. They were coming. The rover bounced violently as Raylan pushed it across the frozen mountains. The engine whined like it was crying for mercy. But he didn't stop. He couldn't. Not with 3 hunter ships closing in from behind. Each ship left long trails of blue light through the sky, turning the dark night into a battlefield. Inside the rover, the newborn twins cried softly, sensing the fear in the air. Their glowing bodies flickered like tiny stars trapped in blankets. Lyra, the alien mother, lay weakly in the back seat. Her eyes opened only halfway, but even in her broken state, she reached out to her babies, whispering, "Stay with me." Raylan checked the scanner. The hunters were less than a kilometer behind. "They're gaining," he muttered. He needed to reach the old signal tower before the hunters reached him. It was his only chance to send a deep space distress call. Human reinforcements were somewhere out there, but they needed coordinates. They needed to know the danger. The rover jerked again. Raylan gritted his teeth. "Just hold a little more." Lyra's weak voice broke the silence. "Ray, why do you do all this? You don't know us. You don't owe us." Raylan glanced at her through the mirror. Her glowing eyes were filled with confusion and pain. "I don't need a reason to save someone," he said. "No mother deserves to die in the cold. No babies deserve to be hunted." She swallowed hard. "My people don't believe that. To them, twins are cursed. They think killing them brings good luck." Raylan's jaw tightened. Then they're cowards, scared of their own children. Lyra looked down, tears forming. You speak like someone who lost family. Raylan didn't reply, but the pain in his eyes was answer enough. A loud explosion behind them shook the snow-covered valley. One of the hunter ships fired a warning shot. A beam of red light sliced across the ground, melting ice and rock as if they were made of paper. Lyra gasped. They're close. Raylan pressed the accelerator harder. Almost there. I can see the tower. In the distance, the old communication tower stood like a lonely skeleton, its metal frame half-broken but still tall enough to send a signal to orbit. It was their last hope. The hunters fired another shot. This time it hit a ridge next to the rover. Snow exploded everywhere, and the rover almost flipped. Raylan fought the controls, managing to keep them upright. The twins began crying loudly, their tiny hands reaching upward as if begging for safety. Lyra pressed a weak kiss on their heads. Please, stop crying, Mama is here. Raylan's breath grew heavy. He could feel their fear. He could feel his own fear. But he wasn't stopping. Not until they were safe. He reached the tower and slammed the brakes. The rover skidded into the snow, almost crashing, but it finally stopped. Raylan jumped out, grabbed the emergency transmitter from the back, and looked toward Lyra. Stay here. Lock the doors. Keep the babies warm. Lyra grabbed his wrist, her hand shaking. Ray, they will kill you. Don't go out alone. He forced a smile. Someone has to push the button. Her eyes trembled with fear. Come back, please. Raylan stepped out before she could say more. The wind cut across his face like knives. Snow fell harder now, thick and blinding. Raylan stumbled toward the tower, his boots sinking deep into the ground. He climbed the ladder, each step echoing with danger. Halfway up, he heard the roar of engines. The hunter ships circled the tower like vultures waiting for their prey to die. Raylan reached the top and connected the transmitter. The device sparkled, power returning after years of silence. He pressed the emergency signal. A loud beep echoed through the sky. Signal sent, Raylan whispered. Come on. Someone answer. Suddenly, a bright red beam shot past him, barely missing his head. Raylan ducked. A hunter ship hovered right in front of the tower, its cockpit glowing with purple energy. Inside stood the leader, tall, armored, and furious. A voice echoed from the ship speakers. Human, return the twins. This is not your fight. Raylan stood tall, gripping the transmitter. This became my fight the moment you left them to die. The hunter leader growled. Then die with them. The ship charged a blast. Raylan closed his eyes. Lyra, forgive me. Before the shot could fire, a deafening sonic boom erupted across the sky. Raylan's eyes flew open. A massive shape descended from the clouds, a human rescue ship, larger than all 3 hunter ships combined. Its lights cut through the night like sunrise after a long, dark winter. The loudspeakers blared. Raylan Ward, stand down. We are here. Raylan exhaled deeply, knees shaking. The hunter leader looked up, startled. Another voice came from the human ship, strong, commanding. Alien vessels, you are violating human territory. Leave now, or face consequences. The hunters hesitated. Raylan smirked. Looks like you're outnumbered. The hunter leader snarled but signaled his ships to retreat. Within seconds, they flew away into the clouds, disappearing like shadows running from the sun. Raylan finally allowed himself to breathe. He climbed down the tower slowly, his legs weak. As he approached the rover, the door opened and Lyra stepped out carefully, holding her babies close. Tears filled her eyes when she saw him alive. You came back, she whispered. Raylan nodded, breathing heavily. I said I would. She rushed forward and hugged him, or as much as her weak body allowed. Her newborn twins pressed between them, glowing gently. For humans, she whispered. Protection is not just a word. It is who you are. Raylan smiled tiredly. We try our best. The human rescue team arrived moments later. Soldiers carried warm blankets, heaters, and medical kits. A medic approached Lyra, gently examining her and the twins. "They're underweight, dehydrated, and freezing," the medic said. "But they're alive. We'll save them." Lyra cried softly, but for the first time, they were tears of relief, not fear. The commander approached Raylan and saluted him. "You broke orders," the commander said. Raylan nodded. "Yes, sir." "You risked your life for aliens." "Yes, sir." "You went against protocol." "Sorry about that, sir." The commander placed a firm hand on Raylan's shoulder. "You also saved 3 innocent lives and prevented a diplomatic disaster. Humanity owes you." Raylan blinked in surprise. "Really?" The commander smiled. "Really?" Lyra looked up, her voice soft but filled with emotion. "Raylan, you saved me. My babies live because of you. My people do not show mercy to twins. But you did more than mercy. You showed heart." Raylan knelt in front of her. "They're safe now. That's all I wanted." Lyra's babies reached out tiny glowing hands toward him, touching his face. Lyra whispered, "They know your warmth. They know your kindness. They will grow up hearing the story of the human who saved them." Raylan felt a lump in his throat. The commander gestured toward the ship. "Let's get them somewhere warm." Raylan helped Lyra inside the rescue ship. Warm lights and soft humming filled the interior. Lyra leaned against him, exhausted but alive. The twins slept peacefully in her arms. As the ship rose into the sky, Raylan looked back at the frozen valley, the place where he had found death and chosen life. Lyra placed her head on his shoulder and whispered, "You did not just save us. You changed our fate." Raylan gently touched one of the twins' tiny hands. "Maybe they changed mine too."